Okay.
Great. And next item on the agenda is comments from the public.
Okay, so this is a time when the public can speak on any issue and I have a feeling that we have some people who are going to speak on some issues tonight. So
We're waiting to see the wastewater plant.
they weren't interested in the wastewater plant, I don't think.
But they learned something, though, maybe.
They learned
They learned a
something.
few
We're
something.
forced learning. Okay, so 3 minutes, state your name and address, and you get a 3-second warning. And come forward, please, and kind of queue up, because if this is going to take a long time, we'd like to be efficient about it. Welcome, sir.
Name's John Nolly. I'm the owner over at Ciderworks. I really appreciate everybody coming here today. Thank you guys for listening to me and everybody. We're looking to see if we can get it brought up about the ordinance of where it says acoustic music. All live entertainment has to be acoustic only outside there in Edgartown. And I don't understand that, because if it's a noise issue, then I think that should be read by a decibel reading, kind of like the whole rest of the area. I live on 1207 Seaway. 1136 is on the edge, so I'm very familiar with, being a neighbor of some music. We keep our stuff pretty low in general. Had a bunch of stuff to say, but then I started looking around while we were talking, and you guys have a perfectly set up acoustic, it's obviously made for this, right? Acoustic tiles. I think there's 17 speakers set around where everybody is. Nobody's talking, and you guys still got to use microphones. So that's what we're kind of fighting. Because if somebody plays there with literally an acoustic guitar and sings, or a drum and sings, it's not amplified. And here, there's no conversation. We're lucky enough to have these people come to our place to conversate. So it kind of makes it impossible for us to have true live musicians. So instead of, we can play canned music and crank it up. But the only difference between canned music and live music is the feeling, the look, and helping out local musicians. So I'm keeping it short because there's a lot of people that I've kept here way too late.
Yeah, thank you very much. Yeah, we appreciate everybody waiting through all of the other stuff, all of our other business. Please come forward.
Good afternoon, Madam Mayor, Commission. First and foremost,
State
thank
your
you.
name.
My name is Will
Thank you.
Goulet, 2305 Atlantic Beach Boulevard.
Thank you, sir.
First and foremost, thank you for your service to our great city, and thank you for giving us an opportunity to discuss the issue of amplified live music in Edgartown. As I said, my name is Will. I'm currently the taproom manager for Ciderworks, and I'm a local musician. I have been an employee of Ciderworks in various capacities since 2018. I have been an employee of 411 North 2nd Street, which is the current address of Ciderworks, for approximately 8 years. 8 years ago, I was hired by Sailfish Brewing to provide live entertainment for customers to enjoy in the beautiful outdoor beer garden. When this location became what is now Ciderworks, I was hired to do the same. As a musician at Ciderworks, I developed a friendship with its owner, which eventually led me to my current position. In other words, without live music at 411 North 2nd Street, I would not have the full-time career that I thoroughly enjoy today and that provides for my family. I stand before you to clarify what has brought myself and many other members of the community here. There are a couple of false narratives being spun by a resident of the Edgartown community. The first inaccurate narrative is that Ciderworks continuously has live music that is disturbing the peace and tranquility of Edgartown. This claim is a vast exaggeration. Ciderworks has no live entertainment on Mondays. There's a bluegrass jam on Tuesdays, which is completely inaudible from a distance of about 30 feet. There's no live entertainment on Wednesdays. On Thursdays, we typically have a solo acoustic musician. Fridays and Saturdays are generally a mixed bag. Sometimes we have a solo, sometimes a duo, sometimes a trio. On the rarest of occasions, a 4-piece band. We do not hire loud wailing rock bands every night of the week, as one resident may want you to believe. We do not have music at all, live or otherwise, after 9 p.m. To recap, that's a total of 12 hours of music per week. There are 168 hours in a week. The second false narrative being spun is that the entire Edgartown community wants the current ordinance to be strictly enforced. This is simply not true. In fact, there are 2 residents of Edgartown here today that have been employed by Ciderworks to provide live entertainment. I find it very hard to believe that either of these two residents wants this ordinance enforced, as it directly affects their ability to earn a living. On April 7th at approximately 6:30 p.m., we were forced to stop the band that was performing. This was upsetting to at least 4 residents of Edgartown who were at our location enjoying the music. One resident was so upset the band had to stop, he said he was going to bring the band to his house to finish performing uninterrupted. I had to inform this resident that if he were to do so, he would be subjected to the same penalties as Pierce Ciderworks, as this ordinance applies to every property in Edgartown, business or residential. This seemed to upset the resident even more. It is my hope that the city of Fort Pierce will take the time to accurately assess the feelings of all Edgartown residents when it comes to this issue. It is my hope that one squeaky wheel will not outsqueak the wishes of the majority, and we would like the commission to consider adding this to a future agenda. Thank you
Thank
for
you,
your time.
sir. Who's next? Ladies and gentlemen, I know you want to show your appreciation, but please do not applaud. That's not appropriate here, but I understand why you want to. Go ahead.
I appreciate that. Following up on that, I cannot beat that in a kind of presentation.
What's your name?
Gian Maliki. I'm with 501 Southwest Todd Avenue in Port St. Lucie, but I work here at Islamorada Brewery and Distillery off of the airport. First things first, as a brewing chemist and who studied food and water chemistry, I believe y'all will focus on the water treatment plant smartly, and as well as the county grow and the cities grow, so that it can cover that bandwidth. But on a second thing, touching up on what my friends have said, since I'm in the same industry with them, let's talk about noise pollution here. The fact of the matter is that with a railway that runs right behind Edgartown and the Fort Pierce proper, there is a consistent and sometimes random schedule of the train that goes by, both day and night. They sound their horn on the cross streets. That being said, as far as decibel reading goes, it vastly outshines any sort of live amplified music that may be held during a normal evening and night hours there when the time warrants. That being said, that's probably going to be exacerbated and get even more frequent as the bright line is installed as it makes its way through the Orlando area. So I would ask that let's focus on maybe reevaluating this ordinance and see where we may go from there.
Thank you,
for
sir.
your time.
Thank you.
Have your name again, please?
Gian Maliki. Need me to spell it?
Nope, I'm good.
Okay. Yes, ma'am.
Thank you, sir. Yes, sir.
Gregory Welling, 5264 Breach Blanket Circle. My brother Brian and I own Rabbit Hole Brew Station, makers of Sour Sea Cow cider. Pierce is probably our biggest competitor, and they have a nice tasting room, which we do not, that has live music, and that gives them a bit of a competitive advantage when they're trying to sell their product to other bars and restaurants. So you might think that I would take joy out of seeing them struck a little bit lower. But you would be wrong, because although we are competitors, we're part of a community of artists, musicians, and brewers, but also part of the greater Fort Pierce community. Live music, art, the art walk, entertainment, all of these things make Fort Pierce a more vibrant place to live, more attractive to young people, more attractive to tourists. And so while it might be against my direct interests, I can't help but say I think that they should have live music there because it makes Fort Pierce a more interesting place to live. I will note that in the audience right now, not just myself, but also representatives of Islamorada and Sailfish are here in support of Pierce. So I would also add, as someone who used to teach economics, that the people in Edgartown, their houses are probably worth more because of their proximity to Pierce. The fact that Pierce brings in extra people and extra traffic means that when they decide to sell those houses, I mean, I would guess probably $800,000 extra based on the fact that they've extended the downtown area into that part of Fort Pierce. Now, you'd have to talk to a real estate person to know that for sure, but they add something to the community. And if it's about noise, again, that's decibels. But live music is just, it's better than canned music. It's more authentic. It's more, I don't know, homey. It's more, it's more customized. It's more unique to the area. And so I would say that pretty much everyone that's involved in the arts and entertainment in Fort Pierce supports Pierce and would like to see live music back there.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. Yeah, who's next?
Good evening, Madam Mayor, Commissioners, police officers. Thank you all for your service to this community. I do appreciate that. My name is Lance Marler. I own a food truck that is a regular at Pierce Ciderworks. My wife and I bought our truck in October. I've spent over 30 years in the food service industry, and we decided to make this move to give our family a better future. We've been so blessed to get the opportunity to serve the community in Edgartown and Fort Pierce, and we couldn't be happier with the people we meet here on a daily basis. As I said, I opened my business to get my family a better life, better future. I started out a little late in life. I was in my 40s before I got married. My wife and I had the opportunity to adopt our son, and I've had him since he was 2 days old, came home from the hospital with us. We decided to give him a little brother or sister, and we're blessed to have our own little baby daughter. She was about 6 months old when we bought this food truck. So this has been her whole life, is me in this food truck, basically. It's amazing how fast they grow, and I happened to be working at Pierce Ciderworks the day of her first birthday, so we decided to have her birthday party there. The night was perfect. The venue is well suited from anything from a first birthday party to the retirees that were up there to listen to the old hippies on stage. I will always remember watching my 3-year-old son and our 1-year-old daughter dancing to the music there. But the best memory of all was getting up there while the band was playing and the audience was singing happy birthday to my little baby. That will forever be my most cherished moment with her life, and one that I want to repeat each and every year with live amplified music. Needless to say, when this ordinance regarding amplified live music began to get enforced, my business also suffered. I spend the majority of my work week serving the locals and clientele of Pure Cider, as well as the employees from Natalie's and other other closely located businesses. Without the musicians, one of the attractions about Pure Cider was left vacant. This great community wants to be able to support its own, including those musicians. Pure Cider is no longer on the same level playing field as other venues just a few blocks away. Something you'll mention when you were talking about redistricting. This is exactly what we, the people, are here trying to get rectified today. We want to get this on the docket as soon as possible. Pure Ciderworks is locally owned. It supports other locally owned businesses like mine, supports other locally owned breweries, and wants all of them to succeed because it helps our community succeed. They deserve to be able to offer the same services that other similar businesses offer. If the ordinance states that the amplified music needs to be a certain level of decibels, it should be the same for all. But live music is what makes part of this treasure coast very special. I understand Pure Ciderworks is located in Edgartown and that there are special regulations there versus the rest of the city. But I also tell you from working at Pure Ciderworks that the live music is certainly not the loudest amplified sound in the area. Do you know the train horns are between 130 and 150 decibels? We're talking 50 decibels in live music. All right? Did you know that Edgartown is not exempt from those train horns? Trust me, I hear them blowing every day. With the approval of Brightline, that's an additional 32 train horns a day they're going to be blowing there. This clearly shows that this commission has no problem with this amplified sound coming from the trains. All of you have supported this proposal for Brightline, even wanted to bring a train station here into Fort Pierce. I don't want to get off track, just trying to make the correlation.
So you need to wind it up. Thank you, sir. No, you're done. You're done. But you made a lot of good points. Thank you. Yeah. All right. Remember, you only have 3 minutes, so make your important points first. Don't wait till the end. Yeah.
Alfred. Thank you. I'm a new resident here in Fort Pierce, longtime resident of Port St. Lucie, longtime resident of St. Lucie County, born and raised here.
What was your name? I didn't hear it.
Jonathan Alfred.
Okay, welcome.
To come to find out, months after I moved here, to find out that Fort Pierce is now turning into Port St. Lucie with some noise ordinances is concerning. Number one, my profession as a lawyer at trade, I litigate these things in a criminal setting for freedom of speech. The way I read that ordinance, it's unconstitutional. The way you guys protect some other noises, but not others in certain settings. For those reasons alone, I feel like you're exposing yourself to litigation, to putting us on the map for negative reasons and not positive reasons. I'm successful in Port St. Lucie in doing those type of actions here in St. Lucie Courthouse and at the St. Lucie West Courthouse. But my more concern is being a Fort Pierce resident, you're taking away live music on a downtown. You're downtown. You're downtown. Port St. Lucie doesn't have a downtown. Why are we taking away things that enjoy for downtown? And those are the reasons why I think you guys should reconsider that. I'd be happy to rewrite these rules for you so they are constitutionally protected. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Next.
Hi, my name's Maxwell Rudd. I live at 207 Avenue D, proud resident of Edgartown. I'm not going to harp on the same issues you're going to hear a lot, but what I will say is I live one house away from Pierce Cider. I can tell you that I can hear Cobb's Landing music over Pierce Cider music when it's playing. I can hear Tipsy, I can hear Crocodillos, I can hear Tillman's. But what Pierce Cider really has done is help to mitigate the riffraff in my area. I live next to an alcohol distributor, the liquor store, and a condemned house that was set on fire. There's broken glass in my street, and vagrants who come around doing criminal activity all the time. Pierce Cider and the way they've managed that place has been top notch. They've pushed this kind of thing out of the area by having really civilized, good people in the area, good people coming in. They've given back to the city. They're being bullied with this code. People are using this code to justify some really disturbing behavior from my neighbors, and I think that they could really use your help. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Who's next?
Hello, my name's Greg Espinal. I live at 512 on East Portofino Landings. The major difference between me and you guys, is I'm not from here. I'm not born and raised in Florida. I moved here about 3 years ago. When I moved to Florida, I had a choice to live anywhere in the Treasure Coast. The lab I was opening was in Sebastian. I found Fort Pierce is very homey. I'm from Queens, so it reminded me a lot of just, you open your door, wave to your neighbor kind of vibe, which I liked a lot. I started going to Pierce Ciderworks just because it was different than a lot of the other establishments downtown. I was able to go somewhere with my kids, listen to music, enjoy company, meet new people during the day. I didn't have to wait until 10 o'clock at night to go downtown to another establishment just to hear some live music. They're really good at fostering a community. It's different than another place. It's not just like a bar. It's totally different. Like, I know people here, like, Bob, Nance, like, these are people I wouldn't have known in the community. People definitely not in like my generation or age, but something I have something in common with, something that makes me love this town, even not being from here. And like, that's something like a community that they're building. Well, it just goes out from that little spot of land throughout all of Fort Pierce. And it brings other people from other places to like your town, to like being here. I enjoy being here. I won't move. Like, I like it. That's it.
Thank you. We're glad you like it.
Madam Mayor,
Yes.
gentlemen of the board, my name is Noah Ross, 7003 Shannon Drive, Fort Pierce, Florida, 34951, I believe. I'm here to speak on behalf of Pierce Cider as well. Last year, I was lucky enough to host a festival at Pierce Cider, and we brought in a lot of people from a lot of different areas. And upon doing my recon at the end of the festival and asking people, what is the one thing that we could have done better here at this festival? It was not an argument of anything other than the one thing that everybody wanted was live music. The only reason we didn't have live music last year was because our musician, unfortunately, had been booked for that evening. But again, you all should reconsider this decibel rating or whatever's going on with this neighbor. As many of these people have said, again, I don't want to beat a dead drum here. This is good for the community. It brings in money, right? It brings in people from areas, again, like during my festival, Miami, West Palm. We had people from Tallahassee who came to a little bar in Edgartown, Fort Pierce, which sits across from A.E. Backus, not too far from the A.E. Backus Museum, all this kind of stuff. It would be beneficial for you all to take consideration into this and really think about it. And even as far as the decibel rating itself, there's a big difference in decibels. 60 decibels is not very loud. 70 decibels, to give you an example, is a garbage disposal or a vacuum. So think about that when you're taking these things into consideration. Also, as previously stated, think about the issue at hand of maybe problems that are going on between the person who lives next door and the business itself. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Who's next?
Hello, Madam Mayor and the Commission. My name is Amanda Delgado. I reside at 207 Avenue D in Edgartown. Everyone's making really, really great points here today, but I just wanted to say for the record that I do live in Edgartown. We love Pierce. We love live music. We want that to continue. It's a great family environment, very beneficial, and I hope it's reconsidered soon for the benefit of the community.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Hi, everyone. My name is Anna Bock. I live at 7303 Georges Road in Lakewood Park.
Last name again, please.
Bock, B-A-C-H, yeah. I am a second-generation Fort Pierce and a third-generation local business owner. I'm going on my 5th year of real estate, and this topic comes off as a little controversial to my career. But at some point, I feel like I have to draw the line. I say draw the line because being in real estate, we're subject to conformity and the belief that growing our town is a good thing. And of course, I back that, and I love to watch this town grow and turn from a dot on the map to a destination of paradise. One of the biggest attractions of this town, aside from the beaches, is the arts. We come from a town of a famous highwayman and a famous music artist and many up-and-coming artists, Gary Stewart being one of the most well-known. When people think of Fort Pierce, they don't just think of fishing and bars, but they also think of the bands that they see at the little local bars, including the one off of 2nd Street. Taking away live music from Pierce Cider is a slippery slope, in my opinion, that I don't think we're grasping. Just let alone from the overflow from the concerts and live music that Pierce hosts directly affects the other businesses in the local bars. Before I was a realtor, I was a local bartender in this town for 6 years, working at the Tiki Bar and then moving over to Bistro. We thrived off these events and live music that Pierce Cider would host on those nights. Our downtown is the life of this city. And yes, we have our fishing that is unfortunately slowly dying out, and our beaches are being taken over by tourists. But the one thing that can't be ruined over the course of these years is the growth of our downtown life. Taking away live music from Pierce Cider will not only affect local artists, but local bars. And in my opinion, what else do we have to offer the home buyers and relocators? My last point I want to make is location. Being in real estate, my favorite statement to buyers is you can always change your house, but you can't always change your location. So when buying a home, focus on where you want to be, not just the 4 walls that surround you. When moving to an area, it's important for these buyers to take into consideration that the area they are moving to and activities they have been taking place for almost a decade now prior to the move. It should be an attraction for these buyers to want to move to the downtown life. And I'm more curious as to what comes to mind when they think of living downtown. So I hope you take in consideration my opinion. Thank you.
Bob Lynch, 1830 South Dovetail in Fort Pierce. I'm here to speak on behalf of Pierce Ciderworks and what it means to the community and what happened that night, April 7th. They allow crafters to come out, artists to come out that evening to display their wares and possibly sell some of their merchandise out there. When that music got shut down, that place got emptied out by people leaving in disgust with the city of Fort Pierce for taking away live entertainment that evening. Okay? I happen to know that as a fact. My wife and I are one of the crafters out there. Okay? Boy, talk about dead silence that evening. I can't say enough about Fort Pierce. Okay? Talking about. I moved here from Chicago. I've been in Fort Pierce now going on 4 years. Okay? I left 3 kids in Chicago, but I haven't adopted so many young kids at Pierce Ciderworks that my daughter, when she comes down, is amazed. You have more friends my age down here than I do up north. Okay? Pierce Ciderworks is a family. They provide a family environment. It's great seeing young families out there enjoying the music, you know. Just all we're asking is that you take a look at the ordinance and treat them fairly, like everybody else.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate it.
Good evening, Madam Mayor, Commission. I am Raymundo Santiago, Chief Petty Officer, United States Coast Guard, retired. 5'4",
Say that again?
Raymundo Santiago, Chief Petty Officer, retired U.S. Coast Guard. I was stationed here at Fort Pierce from 2009 to 2013. And it wasn't an easy unit for me. One of the things that allowed me to heal and endure what I had to endure at that unit with the job was my friend and now shipmate brother, Will Goulet, who taught me how to play music and encouraged me to become a musician. I then became, for 3 years, a professional musician on the weekends here in Fort Pierce. And it's a healing. It's not just a moneymaker. It had nothing to do with money. I don't even drink alcohol anymore, but I go to Pierce Cider's work for the fellowship, the camaraderie, the environment, the space that it creates and it holds for people to heal with music, frequencies, vibration, dancing, laughter, love, unity. Everyone's been talking about noise as a negative thing. But what I'm here to bring into the perspective is the healing location and the sanctuary that Pierce Cider's work provides as another benefit to the city of Fort Pierce. I own 3 homes in Connecticut, in Los Angeles, and here. And in 2019, when I retired, I picked here to come live and share my experiences with others like me and similar to me. So I just want to bring back to the perspective as well, is Pierce Cider work as a healing location, as you guys have an ability to help heal Fort Pierce and its residents as well by allowing live music. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
Hi, my name is Madison Clark. I live at 1221 Benny Drive. Hi, I've lived in Florida since 2008. I'm from West Virginia. And every now and then my grandma will get sick of my grandpa and send him down here to stay with me. And he enjoys long walks on the beach and going to Pierce Cider to listen to bluegrass and jazz. And he's been playing music since he was 15. He was born 1950 and claims he was the birth of rock and roll. And he has been a recovering alcoholic. This is his second time sober, but this time for 9 years. So we get root beer and we go to Pierce Cider to listen to live music. And I feel that music is not meant to be heard, it's meant to be felt. And we feel it at Pierce Cider. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Yes, sir.
George Desjardins, 406 North 2nd Street, Fort Pierce. I just want to say I'm in support of live music and being a direct neighbor of Pierce Cider Works. No complaints here. The train is so much louder than the live music. It's unbelievable. And thank you for your consideration.
Thank you, sir.
Last name again, please.
Sir?
Your last name again?
Desjardins, Desjardins.
Thank
It's
you.
a long one.
Got it.
Yes, ma'am.
Good evening. My name is Jennifer Ragland. I'm also a transplant. I'm originally from Tennessee. So music has been instilled in me since I was a child, especially live music. I moved here permanently about 2.5 years ago. Had been to Ciderworks several times before that when I'd come down to vacation. But like I said, I moved here permanently. Ciderworks is a happy place. We are family there. We go there to listen to music and have a great time. My 9-year-old begs me, Mama, let's go to Ciderworks and listen to music. So it's not just for the adults. The kids are very welcome, and they cater to the children. It's not just like it's an adult bar, because that's not the atmosphere at all. And so to take away the live music there is a tragedy. It's sad, and I hope that you guys consider with a decibel and let them continue their live music and let us as a family still enjoy the place with the music.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm Connie DeGolier, 658 North 2nd Street. I am the owner of Tipsy Tiki. When I heard this happen to Pierce Cider, it disturbed me, made me sad. I know for us personally, a huge chunk of our revenue is from our live entertainment nights. I've been to Pierce Cider many times, and it can't, I don't think it compares to any other venue. Their music is amazing. I couldn't believe somebody complained about it because we are a lot louder. I know. And so.
What was your address again?
So it made me a little disturbed to think that, that could happen to us and we'd have to close our doors, basically. So I just hope that you would reconsider and readjust the ordinance and if you have not visited them, I encourage you to. It's a great place to be for family, friends, and live entertainment. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Dave Underhill, 1713 Bayshore Drive, Fort Pierce. So I've seen the commission twice in the last 2 years. Once was to complain about the loudness at J.C. Park. You guys did a great job. Zoning enforcement and codement, it's still loud, much louder than what we're talking about tonight, but we live with it because we're neighbors. That's what we do. And then when we talked about VRBO and Airbnb, I was here quite a few times. And we worried about the noise in the communities and the things that we're all worried about. That seems to have worked itself out. And then I got home the other night, my wife said, they're shutting down Pierce Cider's music. I said, the place where I have to sit way up in front to hear? The place where the band faces the train and away from the road is too loud? No, it's not too loud. It's amplified. How subjective is that? Acoustic versus amplified. I could be a lot louder than an amplifier if I decide to be. You've heard that part of me before. Look at the rules. Look at it subjectively. Yes, people complain. I complained. There's times when we have to. But their venues are all family-oriented. I was there for that birthday party. I don't go there that often. Because I had my 2-year-old and my 4-year-old grandsons in town. And we took them there. That's one place we can go downtown with them. So please reconsider. Look at it subjectively. Understand amplified versus acoustic. We need to understand that. Come back to wastewater. Mr. Johnson was very clear about that. Please remember 2017. Fort Pierce dumped 345,000 gallons of wastewater into that river during Hurricane Irma. So yes, it's all about numbers, but that's a big number. We were fined by the state, not as much as we should have been. We dumped a lot of sewer in that water. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
My name is Don Wonderling. I live at 5960 Northwest Wesley Road in Port St. Lucie. I wanted to stand up just to tell you that I don't live in Fort Pierce, but every single weekend since Pure Cider opened up, I brought my wife and my money and spent it right here. Not necessarily in that order, but the... That's right. I guess I wanted to tell you that this is a really magical place, and it's not just because they have live music, it's because they have good music. I get to hear music there and enjoy music there that I wouldn't get to hear, I don't think, in many other places in, this area. Songs about Florida, songs about Fort Pierce, songs about Jensen Beach, songs about, many of the towns up and down the coast here, about Florida landmarks. And I'm thinking about one or two artists in particular. But, we get to hear blues, we get to hear swing, we get to hear all these forms of music that we don't readily get to hear anymore. And, and I think that's partly why this is such a magical spot. Look, I just want you to also know that the owner of Pierce Cider, he's a real nice guy. He is... tried to work with the neighbors there, or the one neighbor, at every opportunity. Whenever there were some concerns about some noise, he took, where he used to have the bands, and he moved them further to the east and further to the south to try to accommodate. So he's really done a lot to make things better. And the thing that really is kind of, it's hard for me to understand is if where he was doing business was just maybe a few hundred yards to the south or a few hundred yards to the east, he would be under the ordinance of Fort Pierce, and in which case I don't think there would be any problem. It's because of the unique situation there in Edgartown that makes it a problem, and I can't help but think that there is some compromise that could be made. Appreciate your attention.
Thank you, sir. Welcome.
Good evening, Madam Mayor, Commissioners.
My name is James Clasby. I live in Fort Pierce, Florida. Live music is definitely an issue that I'm really passionate about. I love going and seeing live music myself. I'm going to be real quick with this because you guys have heard a lot already, but I don't think we should be discriminating against live music versus canned amplified music. At the end of the day, it's all decibels, and that's something that can be enforced. I think that we should change the code to allow live music in Edgartown. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Hello, Aaron Freed, 1111 Damon Avenue, Fort Pierce. I moved up here with my wife 7 years ago from Fort Lauderdale. It was a lot noisier there. And I couldn't believe that it didn't cost anything to park on the beach. I think that's what sold me on Fort Pierce. But it's also the first place I heard. Yeah, not for long. Is that what? No. I told my wife when they start charging for parking, we got to find another town to move to. Yeah. So it's also the first place I heard people put speakers on the outside of their cars. That's pretty loud and obnoxious. We hear that by our house a lot. I don't call in and complain about it. You know, there's better things to complain about. We were over at our friend's house for a barbecue. They were on like 5 acres on a pond, and she was complaining about the frogs making too much noise and keeping them up at night. But I would think if you live on 5 acres out in the woods, you're paying to hear frogs. I mean, that's, you're going to live out there, you're going to hear frogs. And if I want peace and quiet, I'm going to live out west, If I want peace and quiet, I'm not going to buy a house downtown on the railroad tracks. On the railroad tracks. If I want peace and quiet. That's all I got. Thanks.
Thank you, sir.
I'm nervous.
Don't be nervous.
I know. Lydia Wilde, 1111 Damon Avenue. My husband just talked. I am a bartender at Pure Cider. I've actually worked a couple jobs downtown between a couple restaurants, and I have to say Pure Cider is my favorite. It is a community. It is a family. And it is everything that we want to represent Fort Pierce with. Everybody that comes in, everybody has a great time. They're able to bring their friends. They're able to bring their family, from all the way to being a baby, all the way to like being older. So it's really nice. There's no fights, nobody gets belligerently drunk. So it's a really nice place. Sorry, I'm getting so nervous right now. Sorry.
You're all right. I think you're the last speaker of the night, so relax.
Cool. Thanks. But
never mind.
It's not right. One more. It's all right. And with the music situation, I feel like you take the soul out of Pure Cider. This is what people come for. I've had people from, they'll travel like 3 hours just to hang out there and, get some cider and everything. And I've seen people going from pregnant to like having the baby and dancing outside with the music. It brings a community. And like I said, being a bartender there and seeing everybody come in and hearing their stories about this place just, it warms my heart and makes me really appreciate my job and everybody I work with. So that was all.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Evening, Commissioners, Mayor Hudson. My name's Mark Huter. I live at 6010 Yucca Drive, Fort Pierce. I've been here for 40 years. I have to say that I'm going to say ditto to pretty much everything everybody has said. I'm not going to rehash all that. I just want to bring up a point. I can remember possibly 4 or 5 years ago, 6, being in the Edgartown area at night, Friday or Saturday night, and not really feeling very comfortable. Don't want to get into the details of why I didn't feel comfortable, but it wasn't a comfortable place. I can go down there now any night of the week, walk around. I've walked from there to Tipsy Tiki, Crocodillos. I've walked back to downtown Fort Pierce, Saturday night, 11 o'clock. It's safe. One of the reasons I feel that it's that way is because Pure Cider is there. It's changed the vibe of the neighborhood. I think they deserve to have their, the ordinance looked at. They're not loud. They're ditto. They're never loud. It's nice music. It's good. It's chill. It's relaxed. But it has really changed the neighborhood. And so that's what I wanted to add to this. Thank you.
Thank you very much. So we're going to close the public hearing unless someone else has anything to offer. I really, really appreciate all of you being here, sitting through all the other stuff to get to what you wanted to get to. And this is what local government is all about. And so thank you very much for being here. And we'll move on.